Good evening. The world is watching the Middle East tonight, not just because of military action, but because of what it means for your wallet. Over the weekend, tensions between Israel and Iran escalated dramatically. Israeli forces conducted targeted strikes against key energy infrastructure inside Iran. This wasn't just a military move, it was an economic one that sent immediate shockwaves through global markets. The price of oil, the lifeblood of the world's economy, began to climb. It's a stark reminder of how quickly geopolitical events in one corner of the world can impact the daily lives of people everywhere, from New York to Tokyo. The news broke early Monday morning here in the United States, but the effects were already being felt in Asian markets. As trading began, the numbers on the screen started ticking upwards. Global oil prices saw an immediate jump of about 1%. That might not sound like a huge number, but in the volatile world of energy trading, it is a significant and immediate reaction. The price for a barrel of crude oil settled around $75. This increase didn't come out of nowhere. It was a direct response to the heightened risk and uncertainty introduced by the weekend's events. This recent surge in prices builds on a trend that was already developing. Even before the strikes on Iran, U.S. oil prices had been creeping up last week. Traders and analysts were already nervous about the simmering tensions in the region. The weekend's attacks essentially threw fuel on an already smoldering fire, confirming the market's worst fears about a potential disruption to the energy supply. It underscores a fundamental truth. The price we pay for energy is deeply connected to stability and peace in oil-producing regions of the world. Any sign of conflict can create fear. And in the oil market, fear often translates directly into higher prices for everyone. The core issue here is the potential for disruption. While the immediate physical flow of oil from the region has not yet been significantly cut off, the strikes introduce a new level of risk. The market is not just reacting to what has happened, but to what could happen next. Will Iran retaliate? Could this conflict spiral and affect major shipping routes like the Strait of Hormuz, through which a massive portion of the world's oil passes every day? These are the questions that keep energy traders awake at night, and they are the reasons why a localized conflict can have such a far-reaching and immediate global financial impact. To understand the market's reaction, we need to look closely at what was hit. The Israeli strikes were not random, they were precise and aimed at the heart of Iran's energy sector. One of the primary targets reported was the South Pars natural gas field. This is not just any gas field, it is one of the largest in the entire world, a crown jewel of Iran's natural resources. It is a critical source of revenue for the Iranian government and a major supplier of energy. Hitting a facility of this magnitude sends a clear message about the vulnerability of Iran's most valuable economic assets. Another key facility in the crosshairs was an oil refinery. Refineries are the crucial middlemen in the energy supply chain. They take crude oil, which is pumped from the ground, and process it into usable products like gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. By striking a refinery, the attack aimed to disrupt not just the export of raw materials, but Iran's ability to produce the finished fuels it needs for its own domestic consumption and for export. This creates a twofold problem for Iran. It damages their ability to earn money abroad and can lead to fuel shortages at home, potentially causing domestic instability. The attacks also reportedly struck Tehran's main gas depot. Think of this as a major storage and distribution hub for the nation's capital. Hitting a depot like this is designed to cause maximum disruption to the daily lives of ordinary citizens and the functioning of the country's largest city. It impacts everything from heating homes to fueling public transportation. The strategic choice of these specific targets, a massive production field, a vital processing plant, and a key distribution hub, shows a clear intent to cripple Iran's energy infrastructure from start to finish, from the wellhead to the consumer. The importance of these sites goes beyond their physical output. They are symbols of national pride and economic power for Iran. The energy sector is the engine of the Iranian economy, and any damage to it is a direct blow to the government's stability and influence. For the global markets, an attack on such significant infrastructure raises the specter of a wider conflict that could endanger a much larger portion of the Middle East's oil and gas supply. This is why traders react so strongly. They see the potential for a small fire to become a raging inferno that consumes regional energy production. So, how does an event thousands of miles away affect the price you pay at the pump? The journey from a barrel of crude oil to the gasoline in your tank is a direct one. When the price of crude oil goes up, it increases the primary cost for refineries that produce gasoline. Those refineries then pass that increased cost onto the wholesalers and distributors, who in turn pass it on to the gas station owners. Ultimately, that cost ends up on the big sign you see on the corner, and you, the consumer, are the one who pays it. It's a chain reaction that starts with global events. Experts are already forecasting what this could mean for American drivers. Tom Closa, a leading market analyst, suggests that the jump in oil prices we've already seen could translate to a rise of about 20 cents per gallon at the pump in the coming weeks. It is important to note that this doesn't happen overnight. There is a lag time as the more expensive crude oil makes its way through the supply chain, is refined, and then transported to your local station. But the trend is clear, and if tensions remain high, that increase could be just the beginning of the price hikes we see this summer. This is why people all over the world, not just in the United States, pay close attention to the price of oil. For most households, the cost of gasoline is a significant part of the monthly budget. Higher gas prices mean less money for other essentials like groceries, housing, and healthcare. For businesses, it means higher transportation costs to ship goods, which can lead to higher prices for everything from food to consumer products. It's a form of inflation that is directly tied to energy, and it can slow down economic growth by leaving everyone with less money to spend. The psychological impact is also significant. Rising gas prices often become a leading news story, serving as a constant and visible reminder of economic trouble and international instability. It can affect consumer confidence, making people more cautious about their spending, which further slows the economy. The price at the pump is more than just a number. For many, it's a barometer of their own financial well-being and the stability of the world around them. This is why the events in the Middle East are not a distant foreign policy issue but a kitchen table issue for families everywhere. The critical question on everyone's mind is, what happens now? The immediate future of oil prices hinges on the next moves by both Israel and Iran. According to analysts, the flow of oil has not, as of this moment, been meaningfully affected. The price jump we've seen is based on fear and anticipation, not on a real physical shortage of oil. If the situation de-escalates and there are no further attacks, prices could stabilize or even fall back down. The markets are in a wait-and-see mode, holding their breath to see if this was a single, contained event or the start of a new, more dangerous chapter. However, the risk of escalation is very real. If Iran chooses to retaliate, it could do so in several ways that would severely impact oil markets. The most feared scenario involves the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway between Iran and Oman. Approximately 1/5 of the world's total oil consumption passes through this strait every single day. Any attempt by Iran to disrupt, mine, or close this shipping lane would cause an immediate and catastrophic spike in oil prices, likely sending them well over $100 a barrel and plunging the global economy into a severe crisis. This uncertainty forces countries and companies to plan for the worst. Nations may consider releasing barrels from their strategic petroleum reserves to help calm markets and offset any potential price shocks. Energy companies may delay investments in the region, fearing for the safety of their assets and personnel. The ripple effects go far beyond the gas pump, influencing foreign policy, national security strategies, and corporate boardrooms around the globe. This single event has introduced a new layer of risk that everyone, from world leaders to everyday citizens, must now contend with. Ultimately, we are reminded of the fragile interdependence of our globalized world. A conflict between two nations can hold the world's economy hostage because of our shared reliance on fossil fuels. The path forward is fraught with uncertainty. Diplomacy will be working overtime behind the scenes to prevent a wider war. For now, the world watches the Middle East, knowing that the next headline could determine the price of energy and the health of the global economy for months, or even years to come. The situation remains tense and unpredictable.